Imagine, if you can, the feeling of returning home. You have been away for 3 agonizing years. You have crossed the Atlantic Ocean, survived storms, and dodged enemy warships. You have done all of this for one reason: to see your family again, to hold your daughter, to meet your granddaughter. It is August 1590. You are John White, the governor of the Roanoke Colony. As your ship approaches the shore, you expect to see smoke rising from chimneys. You expect to hear the barking of dogs, the laughter of children, the welcome of old friends. But as you step onto the sand, there is only the wind. The waves crash against the shore, but beyond that, silence. A deafening, heavy silence. You run to the settlement. The houses are gone. The fortifications are standing, but the life inside them has evaporated. 115 people, men, women, and children. Gone, no bodies, no blood, no signs of battle, just a single word carved into a wooden post, a message left by ghosts. Croatoan, welcome to history's whisper. Pull your chair closer to the fire. Tonight we stare into the oldest darkness of the New World. Tonight we ask, what happened to the lost colony of Roanoke? To understand the end, we must understand the beginning. You see, Roanoke Island was never a paradise. From the moment the English set foot there, the soil was tainted with bad blood. Before the families arrived, there was a military expedition in 1585. Soldiers, men of war, not men of peace. They didn't know how to survive in this wild, untamed land. They grew paranoid. They grew violent. They accused the local indigenous tribe, the Croatoan, of stealing a silver cup. In retaliation, the English burned their village. They killed the tribal chief. When the soldiers finally left, they left behind a legacy of hatred. So, when John White arrived 2 years later, in 1587, he wasn't bringing soldiers. He was bringing civilians, farmers, carpenters, pregnant women. They were looking for a new life, but they were unknowingly walking into a trap. They were settling on land where they were already hated. Among them was John White's own daughter, Eleanor, and shortly after landing, she gave birth. A baby girl named Virginia Dare, the first English child born in the Americas. There was hope. For a brief moment, there was hope. But the forest was watching, and the supplies were running out. Fear is a powerful motivator. Just 1 month after arriving, the colonists realized they could not survive the winter. They needed food. They needed tools. They begged John White, their leader, to sail back to England and return with help. He didn't want to go. How could he leave his daughter? How could he leave his newborn granddaughter in a wooden fort on the edge of the known world? But he had no choice. Before he boarded the ship, White made a pact with the colonists, a secret code. He told them, "If you leave this place, carve the name of your destination on a tree or a post so I can find you." But then he added the most important rule. He said, "If you are in danger, if you are forced to leave by enemies or disaster, carve a cross over the name. A Maltese cross. The sign of distress." White sailed away, promising to return in 3 months. He didn't know that history had other plans. When he reached England, war had broken out with Spain. The Spanish Armada was coming. Every ship was seized for the war effort. Queen Elizabeth closed the ports. John White was trapped. For 3 years, he stood on the docks of England, looking west, wondering if his family was still alive. 3 long years. Now, we return to that fateful day in 1590. White finally secures a ship. He races back across the ocean. As they approached Roanoke Island, night was falling. The The crew saw a fire flickering in the woods. White's heart leaped. A signal fire. They were alive. The crew played trumpets. They sang English folk songs loudly into the darkness, trying to let the colonists know, "We are here. We haven't forgotten you." But the forest did not sing back. The next morning, they realized the fire was just a natural brush fire. There were no people. White marched to the settlement. The area was overgrown with grass and melons, vines creeping over where the walkways used to be. The houses had been taken down. Not burned, but dismantled, carefully, like they had packed up to move. And then he saw it. The palisade, the defensive wall. The bark had been peeled away from one of the main posts. Carved deep into the wood were the letters Croatoan. Croatoan. White froze. He knew what this meant. Croatoan was the name of a nearby island, home to a friendly tribe. It meant they had moved there. But his eyes frantically searched the wood above the word. He was looking for the cross. He looked for the sign of distress, the sign of slaughter. There was no cross, just the word. Does that mean they left peacefully? Or does it mean they didn't have time to carve the sign of their own death? For over 400 years, we have asked, where did they go? Let's look at the possibilities. Theory 1. Assimilation. This is the most hopeful theory. They went to Croatoan. They realized no ship was coming. They were starving. So, they joined the local tribes. They became one with the people of the land. Decades later, explorers in that region reported seeing native people with grey eyes, people who spoke Old English words, people who claimed their ancestors talked from books. Did Virginia dare grow up to be a member of the tribe? Did the blood of the lost colony flow into the veins of America, hidden in plain sight? Theory 2. The Spanish. We know the Spanish Empire wanted the English gone. Did a Spanish warship spot the settlement? Did they land, kill the men, and take the women and children into slavery? It would explain the disappearance. But why dismantle the houses? Why leave no bodies? Theory 3. The wilderness. There is a darker possibility. Madness. Isolation does strange things to the human mind. Some historians suggest they tried to sail back to England on small boats and drowned. Others suggest a mega drought hit the region, the worst in 800 years. Did they turn on each other? Did the forest, with its strange noises and shadows, drive them to panic? There are legends, of course. Native legends of spirits that inhabit the woods of Roanoke, spirits that absorb humans, leaving nothing behind but the wind. Here is the tragedy of John White. He saw the sign, Croatoan. He knew where they might be. He wanted to sail there immediately, but a massive storm blew in. The anchor cable snapped. The captain of the ship refused to risk his vessel any longer. They were forced to return to England. White was so close. He was perhaps only 50 miles away from his daughter, but he never saw her again. He died a broken man, haunted by that empty village. Today, if you visit Fort Raleigh on Roanoke Island, the mystery hangs in the air, like humidity. Archaeologists dig in the dirt. They find rings, pottery, copper. But they have never found the 115 souls. They stepped out of the history books and into the mist. Perhaps they are still there, in the whisper of the trees, waiting for a ship that never came. This has been History's Whisper. Keep the fire burning and watch the shadows. Until next time.